Hey there everyone, I'm Michael, and welcome to another LittleBigPlanet tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to take a very boxy looking house building that looks like this into something that looks a little more like this. In fact, that sack boy can even slide down. Like that. So let's get into this. So, with LittleBigPlanet, there are two things to consider here. One is that in LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2, you cannot create these sort of slide-type materials. These are in LittleBigPlanet 3 only. So that makes this video a LittleBigPlanet 3 tutorial, and not a LittleBigPlanet tutorial. But either way, we're gonna need slides. And we're also gonna figure out how we can kind of model these weird corner pieces here. They don't look perfect in this one, but they are what they are. So we're gonna look at how to do that. So, let's create this house. Let's make it look a little more interesting. I'm going to be using basic wood for this, and make sure that you use static physics, because I can't imagine the game's renderer is going to like what we're going to do to it soon. But either way, we're going to take our right angle triangle tool. We're going to go 3 units thick to match what our house is. So, 1, 2, 3 units thick. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units back. And then I'm going to place one right here. And I'm going to flip and place one right here. And I'm going to line these up. And so those are those side roofs done. And you know, Sackboy can walk on them. He can't slide down them, but he can walk on them, and that's fine. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do this. Oh, whoops, I fell inside the house. But we're going to do this material here. Or this area here, because it's looking pretty, you know, it's not a roof. It doesn't look like a roof at all. So we're going to fix that. So head into your Poppets tools bag and go ahead and grab yourself a slide. Because we're going to be using it, not for its gameplay purposes, but for its artistic purposes. Once again, make sure that it is a static physics object, and we're going to go in and select basic wood for its material. Then, we're going to make sure that it is 1 unit thick, like it is by default, and we're going to make sure that we line it up with the front of our little building here. I'm going to place the object, and I'm going to smear it with the grid, so that it lines up with the other side. And then that's the front piece done. The next pieces that we need to do are these 2 side walls. So to do that, we're going to take advantage of rotation, which, by the way, you can actually rotate slides. I don't know how many people know that, but it is something you can do. Either way, I'm going to rotate this slide 90 degrees clockwise, and I'm going to place it on the right side here. Then I'm going to flip, align myself with the grid, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we get to the tricky part. These little side triangles here, because no matter how we try to line this slide up, you're not going to get it to work. So how do we do this? Well, we're going to take advantage of the grid. We're going to rotate the object. Actually, we're going to use the right side as a basis. And we're going to rotate this by 45 degrees. You can use the rotation increment in the pause menu to help you along with that. We're going to rotate it so that the left side is closer to the camera than the right side. Once you've done that, place the slide. Actually, don't place it, because we need to line ourselves up with the grid, like we've done. And we're going to increase the thickness to 2 layers. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to increase the size to 4 grid units. And again, keep ourselves aligned to the grid. There we go. Now this is where things start to get funky. This slide has some weird physics, and has some weird behavior with the Poppet cursor and a whole bunch of other stuff. So at this point, we are glitching the game out. It's gonna take you some finesse to interact with this thing. So just be wary of what you do with it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take advantage of what I can only assume is an oversight from Sumo Digital in the way they implemented this. And that is we can actually corner edit the slide. I don't know why we can, but we can. But anyway, we're going to do that. And we're going to delete that bottom corner there. Then we're going to take our bottom left corner here. And we're going to line ourselves up with the top corner. And it is very, very important that you kept the slide aligned to the grid, because at this point it's going to be incredibly frustrating if you don't. Either way, what we're then going to do is we're going to decrease the layer size, and then we're going to actually shrink the material down to 1 grid unit, which we can do like so. And it's at this point that we can actually go ahead and line it up. As you can see, it lines up pretty neat, or pretty nice, with the actual materials here. It's not perfect. You might notice some weird issues, especially if you didn't align it with the grid, but it looks okay. It actually doesn't look that bad. Anyway, we can then copy this, realign ourselves with the grid after flipping. Then we can apply this same slide to the other side. And just like that, we've taken our house here and made it a little more interesting to the player. We can even add some nice shading here. Granted, you might need to rebuild the structure a little bit to get this working fully, but we can add some nice rooftop shading there. And you know, move this down a little. I'm gonna delete it. And then we can go in and take this and, you know, delete the bottom piece of it and then move it down. And, you know, we can take our big wood object here, and this is where things are a little bit questionable as far as how to do this, but effectively what I'm trying to do is create some sort of like rim here, but this is not something I've tried. I'm experimenting at this point, but I really want to show you guys basically how this works, but yeah, it's definitely not gonna look great, but it'll work. And of course we can take that side there, copy it, increase the thickness, and then, you know, do it over here as well. Take this slide, you know, do that. I suppose that's gonna work okay, but, you know, your mileage might vary. But then we can go ahead and copy our little weird glitchy corner piece here, and we can increase its layer, and you'll line it up like that. And you can probably understand what I'm going for here. A nice little shaded rim here. So that is pretty cool. I bet you guys didn't know you could do that in LittleBigPlanet, but now you know, and you know how to do it. So, anyway, I personally think that the one we just created looks a lot better than this one, so you know what, we're gonna delete that other one. But, you know, this is going to open up a lot of possibilities for people with creative minds when it comes to building things and detailing things. Because, you know, that's the cool thing about LittleBigPlanet is, yes, these tools can be used for gameplay, but they can also be used for interesting, and there, I definitely noticed a glitchy effect there, but they can also be used for artistic purposes. For example, like this, in the corner of the roof, you can use the slide and do some weird corner editor magic that the game probably hates, and I can tell it hates because the lighting system does not handle it well at all. But, yeah, yeah, it thinks that there's something above that wood piece, or maybe I never, or maybe I just never put something in there. But the physics are weird, but it works. It works really well. And anyway, yeah. So I hope you guys find that interesting. I hope you guys have learned something. And as always, I've been Michael, and thanks for watching. 2 days, and the capture card comes, and I can make a video about the SSD PS3 that I have. Anyway, that aside, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.